Hey guys, my name is MARYFELICIA and welcome to my channel. Oh my god. Okay, I couldn't keep composure because I can't believe this. I've been wanting to do this for ages, but I feel like now is my purpose to actually serve and help you guys out, because I'm not just making videos for the sake of it. I'm actually making it to give people guidance. So I was like, this is the perfect time for me to help you guys, give you guys a detailed video, because most of you guys have come here because you're interested in a degree apprenticeship and you're interested in getting your life sorted early, wanting to start your career early, just a career of your dreams early. So I'm here to help you guys make that thing happen. So I'm actually back home to my family again right now, so I thought the perfect time is now for me to give you guys guidance on how I got my apprenticeship, the step-by-step process of how it all happened. And yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a story time. If you're interested in a real estate degree apprenticeship, I'm going to give you guys a little insight onto the top companies, so make sure you stay tuned so you can find out that information. So if you don't know, I'm doing a real estate degree apprenticeship. Obviously you know that because of the thumbnail and everything. Okay, so I'm doing a real estate degree apprenticeship and it is a level 6 apprenticeship. Level 6 apprenticeships are equivalent to a bachelor's degree. People go to university to get degrees, but they don't realise you can do an apprenticeship in it, and it's a lot more beneficial because you're earning a salary whilst you're doing it, you're getting practical experience with industry professionals, you're getting way more experience than somebody who would have been in university. You have no student loan, no student debt, and you're just put in positions which can really elevate you. There's opportunities to network with people who have been in the industry for years, people who know exactly what they're doing. The reason why I decided to do a degree apprenticeship, it definitely starts from beginning of year 13 and September, and obviously schools push university. Schools really just enforce that they want their students to go to university and that there's no other alternative, just uni. I'm the type of person who likes to get things done. I like to work. I just knew that I prefer to do my career straight away than just learning the theory of it, because I do know university you can get a 1-year placement, but throughout the rest of that time really you're mainly just focused on the theory side of things. And I think, teach me and I'll understand, show me and I'll learn. Do you know what I mean? So I just knew that me being able to get proper experience would benefit me. I know I'd enjoy it. So at that time it was time for us to start applying for our UCAS. So we were making our personal statements and we just had assemblies from speakers from different universities. They do presentations on how to budget with student finance, and they always spoke about how great student finance is, but they never spoke about the struggles of uni. TikTok is a great example. People are always talking about how much they're struggling in uni, and so I was just thinking that did kind of deter me away. Hey guys, if you are familiar with what a real estate degree apprenticeship is, I'm going to explain it a little bit. So if you don't know what real estate is, this is what real estate is on the screen right now. So real estate is basically anything to do with the property or building and the land that it's on. So that's what real estate is all about. So I did make a TikTok briefly explaining a bit about it, but with real estate, people always think it's just residential. So I always thought that before I really digged into it. So people just imagine selling houses, making a profit, renting out a room, doing it up, refurbishing it and stuff to make a profit. That's what the people mainly think, especially nowadays anyways. People think that's just what real estate is all about, but not everybody knows that there's more to it. There's commercial real estate. So a lot of the top companies which are offering degree apprenticeships, the top commercial leading real estate firms globally. So they also do have departments which do residential, but the main focus is how great they are in the commercial side of things. If you're unfamiliar of commercial real estate is properties used for business purposes. For an example, office spaces, retail outlets, your favourite Selfridges. Selfridges is a commercial type of real estate. And then you've got industrial, which is warehouses. So for example, commercial, this is a great example of commercial. Residential, you know what residential is. Industrial, this is what industrial is.
So to make things a lot clearer for you guys is you'll get a bachelor's degree in real estate, and at the end of your 4 years of your qualification you will sit an assessment of professional competence, which will give you the qualification of being a chartered surveyor. A lot of apprenticeship schemes work differently, but with mine, I get to rotate into 4 different departments throughout the whole 4 years of my program. So I'm currently in residential sales, but I'll have the opportunity to be rotated into different departments such as land, hotels, retail, valuations, advisory and transaction, which is advising investors. So you're not just stuck in one route. But other apprenticeship schemes can be different with this. At the time of me applying, I also needed 3 C's minimum or equivalent for A levels, but this can change with the firm you apply for. So if you guys are wondering how I've been finding it so far, it's been an amazing experience. Each apprentice is in a different department throughout the business and will rotate 4 times within the 4 years of our course. My first year, I'm in residential sales. And within the first 3 months of me having my apprenticeship, I've had an invaluable experience and I've been able to see properties ranging up to £8 million. And it's just such an amazing experience that you wouldn't really be able to get anywhere else, really. Each day is different, no day is the same. It changes all the time. You could be in the office calling clients, or you could be out on viewings. We also had a dinner recently, a Christmas dinner with the whole residential team. I've had opportunities to visit sites before they're completed, which is why I've got my protective gear on. We went to see a site which was still being built and we got to see the CGIs of what it'll look like. They also have a gym which is free for the apprentices, so I've been using that as often as I can. And there's just been a lot of events for networking. It's such a sociable industry, so it's always fun. And the social life has been great too. I've had opportunities to speak at events as well about getting more young people into the industry. So that's just a brief summary of how I've been finding it so far, which has been great.
There was a time when I was generally confused because I thought that you had to apply through the university first and then they find you an employer. So I was really confused thinking, wait, do you apply through the university and then you go to get your role from the employer? So I actually did go to open days with the university. So I remember going to Birmingham City Uni and I did their open day. And it was a case where I did the open day with my actual course. So they invited everybody in and you basically got to know people who were doing your course. So I did that and it was interesting to me because I met a girl who's doing a degree apprenticeship. So the whole time I was confused. I had the idea that, oh, I wanted to do a degree apprenticeship. But then I was going to uni open days thinking, oh, I can get it through them. So that was actually the misconception. I just generally was trying to find it all out myself. Then I sat with one of the ladies. She explained to me how it all works and how I need to find an apprenticeship with the employer first. So I need to find out which employers offer degree apprenticeships, apply through them, and then it goes from there with which other university will be providing you with your study. So that's when I knew, okay, I need to start looking, I need to start searching. So that's when I was dedicating all of my time for just searching for an apprenticeship, searching for an employer. So because I knew that I wanted to do an apprenticeship, I was thinking, how on earth am I going to search this? I went on YouTube. Nobody talks about real estate degree apprenticeships. I could not find information. So I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, I've only just found out it's a thing. How am I going to find, like, anywhere? So what I started off doing was I had a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn, if you're not sure what it is basically something which is used by business professionals in all different types of industries. And it's a way for you to connect with people who are in similar industries as yourself or anybody who is associated in any industry. It's a way of connecting with industry professionals, getting yourself out there, building up your connections, because they say your network is your net worth. So networking is really important. So LinkedIn is definitely the pool of networking. So I searched up apprenticeships, real estate apprenticeships, because what you can do is you put keywords, and if anything like is posted on LinkedIn as a job, a vacancy, it notifies you if it's got the keywords in it. So I put real estate apprenticeship in my keywords, and I get notifications every day. If something came up, I'll be checking LinkedIn all the time trying to see what's available. And I then started to pick up on top companies. I googled top companies in real estate, not an estate agency, but the firms, the big global firms is what I was reaching for. So I searched that. I came across different companies. I'll literally tell you about them in a bit, but I searched for different companies and I went back to LinkedIn, messaged people who are apprentices in that company, looked on their career pages as well. But with the LinkedIn aspect, the ones that did offer them, I searched real estate apprentice at the company, and I came up with a few people, and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. So I messaged them, asking them how they find in there, like asked them a bit like what people are doing with me right now. They're messaging me on Instagram for tips, but I was reaching out to people on LinkedIn. I got a lot of tips, like people were really helpful. They really did help me a lot. Fast forward, I had an idea of the top companies. I did apply for a few, but the first one I applied for, that one's a story. Let me tell you about that one. So when we talk about the application process of applying for the degree apprenticeships, each of them were different. None of them were the same. So I'm going to tell you guys the different application processes which I went through personally. So the one which I absolutely hated was it was basically where they had the question on the screen. You had like 2 minutes to prepare your answer, and then all of a sudden it's recording you and you have to give your answer. No one's there. There's nobody there. This is your like interview. So this was the most scary thing. I was thinking, what the heck is this, guys? If I would. You know when you just have to laugh and you can't cry? But me, I cried after this process because I felt like, oh my gosh, I threw it all away. I threw it in the bin. This was before I did the interview for the one I'm with now, but I actually recorded when I did that interview, and when I tell you, I was waffling. I was honestly waffling because it just didn't feel right because nobody was there for me to speak to. So I'm just talking to my phone, but it's not like it's a video like this. You're timed, and the questions were so random. Like, it was not a question you'd expect. So the application process of my degree apprenticeship, which I am with now, is the way it worked was I did my application. It had a few set of questions which you had to answer, basically associated with your passions, how it started, why you want to do the apprenticeship, what motivated you, how your experience can help you as an apprentice. And in my application process, the main things which I did was you had a questionnaire basically which you had to answer, and it had the max amount of words that you had to write in it. And of course you can't just write anything brief, you need to go in detail to make yourself stand out. It's basically similar to a personal statement. So a personal statement that you guys are writing in year 13 for UCAS, for university applications, if you don't know what that is. That was kind of similar, but you basically had to tailor it to how you can apply this in the real working world. It's not just about you learning the theory and your passions, like, oh my gosh, I want to learn so much. It's about you being ready to work in the actual field. And it also basically asked me to do some research on the company. So it would be like from our values. So each company basically has their own missions, their own values, which they stand for. So I know that quite a few companies basically ask for how you apply that value into your personal life. So that was how it was for the first stage. It's basically just filling out a few questions, and you have to do it detailed, so you can't answer them briefly. So after doing your application, they then sent out invitations for people who were successful to do an assessment centre. So what an assessment centre was basically a group presentation, and we basically just got split up into groups. We were given a scenario, and we basically had to explain and make our points. But the thing is, when it comes to degree apprenticeships, they're not just caring about your grades. They're actually thinking about, is this candidate going to be somebody who will bring value to the company? What is different about each person? I realised every single apprentice that's there right now, everyone is different. No one is the same. Everyone's got their own good qualities. Like, everyone's so unique, and I love it. So that's one thing which they are looking for. They're looking for someone whose personality shines, who stands out. Like, even if you don't even have to be the loudest person in the room. People need to get rid of this misconception. People think you have to be the loudest person in the room for you to stand out, and that is not true. So they definitely was looking out for that in the presentation. It's just a case of you presenting it in the right way. When it comes to presentations, they don't like people who are overpowering. If you're someone who does not let somebody speak and you want to speak over everyone, they will most likely not consider you. You need to be someone who is willing to listen to what other people have to say, willing to give other people a chance to express their views, not someone who always wants to be talking on top of everyone. So if you have that, okay, I'm not here to contradict you guys right now. If that's how you are, just like, okay, yeah. Yeah, like they're really just looking for people who are just themselves genuinely, and it was a really nice application process. So after the assessment centre, they then sent out offers again to people who were successful in that. So they basically cut down the applicants again, and then they invited the people who they were impressed with to the actual interview. So the interview and assessment centre is different. You do an assessment centre after you're accepted from your application, and then after the assessment centre, it was an interview. So my interview was actually in person, which was great. I basically travelled down to the main headquarters of the firm, and we were interviewed by the employees, and they basically asked us questions associated with tell us a bit about themselves, and was a time that you demonstrated a certain skill, things like that. So I did actually explain in a TikTok what my qualification would be at the end, and that's to become a chartered surveyor. There's different types of surveyors, and they are basically industry professionals who can provide professional advice on real estate, different types of properties, if that's to do with land, all the finance associated with it, and the sale of it, valuations. So there are different types of surveyors. You've got a quantity surveyor. They basically work on the costs and the budgets associated with real estate and properties, so construction projects. So they're the ones who are associated with the finance side of it. If you love finance, consider doing a quantity surveying degree apprenticeship. So when I was applying for apprenticeships, I was confused because there was like a lot with different titles, like building surveying degree apprenticeship, quantity surveying degree apprenticeship, and real estate. So everything with real estate was associated with different types of surveying roles. So that's when I did my research, trying to find out what is surveying, what is a chartered surveyor, and I found out that there's so many different types of surveyors, and it just shows that the real estate industry can really apply to anybody, any interests. There's so much more to it. Like there's so many departments that you can get into in the real estate industry, especially in the global firms. You can work with development and consultancy. You can also work in the finance side of it. You can work in the law side of things, investment side of things, helping investors. If you like things to do geography, if you want to do land, that would be great for you as well. So I really did put my all into searching. Other than LinkedIn, another platform which I definitely found useful was Rate My Apprenticeship, because I was able to see what people were saying about the companies. So when I was searching about each company, I definitely was looking at their reviews, because I needed to make sure this company aligned with myself and my values. So I read about their values and what they stand for, and diversity and inclusion is definitely one that was very important for me. So I was looking at companies which they didn't just talk, they actually they didn't just walk, what do you call it? I need to search that up. I forgot what that's called. Guys, don't watch me. I forgot what that's called. They didn't just talk the talk, they walked the walk. That's what they did. I can't believe I just searched that. They didn't just talk the talk, they walked the walk. So I was just looking for the companies which didn't just say, oh, we are diverse, we're trying to increase our diversity, inclusive of different races, inclusive of different religions and sexual orientations. Like, people always said that for their companies, but it's like, what are you actually doing? Are you doing it? So I was really looking for that. So yeah, I did a lot of research to see which companies were, and the ones that stood out to me are the ones that I applied for. It was good to apply for anything I saw, which I did. Everything I saw, I was just putting in my application, but I feel like I was able to put out my heart more and my all into the ones which I knew aligned with my values, and I knew that I could see myself there and I could feel comfortable there in those environments, okay? Do you know what I mean? If you want to know how I've been finding it with transitioning from A-levels to being an apprentice, this is how it was for me. So whilst I was in A-levels, I actually worked 2 part-time jobs, which was in an estate agency and in a hospital as a catering assistant. So I did both of those jobs on the weekends. So it's like every single day. Went to school, then weekends I was working both days from like 9 till 5, then like 11:30 to 7:30 p.m. So I didn't really have a weekend. So that experience of juggling school exams and part-time work is definitely something which I explained about and boosted about in my application process. I would definitely suggest that you try and get part-time jobs, or if you already have a part-time job, definitely use that to your advantage. Try and see how you manage time, if it's for you, because you will need to be able to juggle doing your uni work at the same time as prioritizing that you have to go to work every day 9 to 5. But the thing is, you have one day study, so 4 days a week basically working, and the fifth day, or whichever day you choose, you're going to uni. My university is actually online, so it's not in person. So I'm doing uni once a week. You choose your study day. The rest of my days I'm working. If you have assignments, you need to find spare time within your work day, like a few hours if you're free. Try and use that to do your work. Things like that. That's how I've managed to juggle it. So yeah, it's like I feel like, especially with my company, they've really pushed me. They've not really made me feel like a baby. They don't make you feel like you're just a little apprentice who's the child of the company, who's just going to be doing all the little things. Like, as much as schools don't know about degree apprenticeships, a lot of teachers don't know much about real estate either. So when I was there trying to tell my teachers that I want to get into real estate, a lot of them were happy for me. They were like, oh, I see you doing that. I see you selling these houses. Like, because obviously everyone thinks it's residential. There was a teacher who did actually tell me, oh, don't do that. You're going to be making coffees for everyone. You're going to be making tea and coffee. Why would you even say that? In my head, I was like, okay. Sometimes, you guys, when someone tells you you can't do something, do it. Just do it. If you know it's for you, do it. Don't let anybody stop you from doing anything. There's definitely a lot of opportunities to further your career as well once you finish your apprenticeship as a degree apprentice, because if you work in a firm which is global, there could be opportunities for you to transfer globally. Once you've finished and qualified, there could be chances for you to go to different countries. I do know that my managers, before COVID, they used to travel to like Hong Kong to do work, and I think that's just so amazing. Like, being able to have opportunities like that is really cool. And of course, I understand as well, with being at uni, it's quite competitive with finding experience after you finish all the theory side of your degree. Whereas doing a degree apprenticeship, it really does put you out there. Within year 12 as well, like end of year 12, that's when I really started taking my finances seriously. So I was like, I don't want to then slip up, because I always heard like horror stories of uni, and it just put me off so much. And I was like, no, this is not for me. Like, that's when I was like, first of all, if I want to get into this industry, I need to get experience. So it was like end of year 12, moving to year 13. I just knew from the get-go that I've got purpose and I need to fulfill it. So, right, we're shifting the conversation just a little bit. So I had a vision board beginning of January. I made a vision board, and I was like, I want to get a part-time job in an estate agency. So I put that on my vision board. On Silent Sunset, there's bricks of the Oppenheim group, and I put that picture on my vision board because I was like, this is what I want. I was at my current job at the time, which was in a hospital as catering assistant, and one of the ladies in there asked me, so what is it that you want to do? What do you want to do with your life, your future? And I was like, I want to get into real estate. And she was like, oh my gosh, my daughter works in an estate agency. That's amazing that you said that. They're actually looking for someone. They're looking for a part-timer on a Saturday. Oh my gosh, I'm going to give you her details and you should contact her. And I was like, in my head, I was screaming. In person, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you don't understand how much this means to me. So she gave me her daughter's number. I sent her a message saying, hey, it's MARYFELICIA. Your mother approached me. She told me that you're working in an estate agency after she found out what I want to do. Then she called me in, I had an interview, and I got the role. And the thing is, it's funny because fast forwarding back, whatever you call it, reversing it back, around December time, I went to local estate agencies myself, and I was actually searching for it. Like, I'm looking for a part-time job to work in an estate agency. I gave them my CV, and I also thought about what stood out to me about each company, and I gave them a point whilst I was telling them that I'm looking for a job, and they would pass me on their details to their manager, give me the manager's details. Thankfully, that situation where I met the lady in this changing room. She gave me her daughter's details. I'm so thankful that happened. So that's just an epitome of, guys, just believe in yourself and just think positively. If you know that you can achieve stuff, so don't lose hope. Do not lose hope. Like, you've got this vision in your head for a reason, so you can make it happen. Nothing is stopping you, honestly. So I was there for about 6 months, and that was throughout the rest of year 13. These are a few companies which you should look out for. JLL, you've got companies like Savills, companies like Knight Frank, companies like CBRE, you've got companies like Allsop, companies like Cushman and Wakefield. These are just a few top companies in the industry who are literally leading the game. Top global companies, so it's just, guys, reach for the stars. Don't be scared to apply for the top companies because they're just top. You should believe in yourself. You deserve the top things. Yeah, guys. If you don't know yet if a degree apprenticeship is something that suits you, still consider university, because I'm not trying to say that university is the worst thing ever, but some people really do genuinely want to go to uni. They want to have that experience, and that's great. I love that for my friends that are doing it. Honestly, I'm so happy for them. An apprenticeship isn't for everyone. So if you do want to do university, I would still say be open-minded to doing an apprenticeship. So if you want to go to uni, do your research on the potential opportunities you may have when you're ready to get into the industry. Decided to do this channel solely for the purpose of helping you guys with your careers, giving back, because when I was looking for apprenticeships, there was no YouTube video. If I need help, I go to YouTube. But why was it that when I'm looking for degree apprenticeships, YouTube was not plugging me anymore? Like, there was barely anything. So thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe, because this is a new thing for me, and I'd appreciate any support you guys give me. Like, I'd appreciate it so much, because yeah.